YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A-N-LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes, it's just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, fam, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. Okay, fam, so look, let's get this one started. So look, fam, this is a video really for you guys. A lot of times I'll do videos because I think it's a cool idea or something like that, but sometimes you guys inspire me to do a video. In this case, you guys kind of manhandled me into doing a video. So you guys know I have a pretty extensive gun collection. I have a pretty extensive Atlas Gunworks gun collection, right? And prior to this year, I had the Atlas Nix, I had the Atlas Artemis, and I had the Atlas Erebus. And those three guns in my rating system ranked very, very high. The Erebus was the highest scoring pistol ever on the channel with a 91. Artemis was right behind it at a 90. And the Nix right behind it at an 89. And so, first of all, I think that's a testament to the quality of Atlas Gunworks guns. Now, Atlas came out with a few new offerings this year, a few new amazing offerings this year. They came out with the Atlas EOS, which is a 4¼ inch barrel, slim frame, concealed carry pistol, which in my opinion is kind of best in class. Now, I got to give a shout out to my supporter, Thomas, who went back and did the math and realized that the EOS scored a 90, not a 91. So I thought that the EOS had tied the Erebus, but in fact it scored a 90. So you've got the Erebus at 91, the EOS and the Artemis at a 90, and the Nix at an 89. So then they came with the Apollo, and the Apollo is a 4.6 inch barrel kind of do-all gun. For all intents and purposes, it is a ported Athena. And that gun really did score a 91. Now, here's the thing. There's been chatter out there in the 2A space and the 2011 blogosphere that the Atlas Apollo is as good a shooter as the Erebus, maybe even better than the Erebus. And so I think a lot of people were up for that for that battle, were up for that fight, and they thought a winner was going to be crowned after I did my review on the Apollo. And if you haven't seen that review, definitely go back and check it out. But when it tied, I think some people felt unsatisfied, right? I think some people feel like we want a winner. We want you to choose the best. And I gotta say, fam, look, that I get irritated with a lot of these gun tubers when they do a review about, you know, the best 2011 or the best ported 2011 or the best gun in a particular category, and they compare and contrast a few different guns, and then at the end they wimp out and they be like, oh, I don't know what's the best, you tell me what you think down in the comments. That's weak sauce to me. If you're a YouTuber and you're watching this, don't do that. Choose one. You can preface it. I think people don't want to influence people, but people are watching your channel because they want your input. If anybody just takes what you say and doesn't do any other research, then that's on them. But people want to know your opinion, right? So I decided to kind of end the drama and put the Atlas Erebus and the Atlas Apollo head to head. Now, normally, y'all, I would not do this. And can we just take in the beautifulness that are these two pistols? Y'all, just take it in for a minute. Now, normally, y'all, I would not ever pair these two head to head. And some of you guys are going to be like, why? They're both 2011s. They're both 4.6 inch barrels. They're both made by Atlas Gunworks. It would seem like these two are the perfect guns to pair off against one another. Well, they're not, because they're really two different categories of gun. The Atlas Erebus is made for competition. My God. My God. Man, that slide is just insane. A couple things you should notice if you're paying close attention right off the bat. No rear sight, no front sight. There's a reason for that. Because this gun is made for competition. Backup sights are not necessary. If the dot goes down, you're done. You're changing guns out. Also, you'll notice that while this has a 4.6 inch barrel, when you look at the front, you'll see a big Hawking sight block comp port on the front of this gun. Again, this is specifically designed for competition. When you look at the Apollo, you'll see that it has a rear sight. You'll see that it has a front sight. You'll see there is no side block. There is no comp. Now the gun is ported, and so it is softer shooting, but this is kind of, like I said, this for all intents and purposes is a ported Athena. And what it was really designed to do was to be an all-around pistol. Now, does that mean you can't use it for competition? Absolutely not. For that matter, you can use the 4 1/4 EOS for competition. That's just how well made and how accurate Atlas guns are. But at its heart of hearts, I would say the Apollo is a kind of best all-around do-all pistol, right? Where the Erebus is kind of the perfect race gun. Now, just looking at the two guns, we talked about kind of the two major differences. No sights on the Erebus, big comped, integrally ported comped on the front of the gun, right? Crazy smooth slide and crazy trigger. Now, if I had to choose again, I would say that in turn, now the Apollo is smooth too, no doubt about it, but not quite as smooth as the Erebus when it comes to how the slide racks. I'd say the trigger is both of them Atlas triggers. Trigger's still great, but a little bit more take up on this, a little bit heavier trigger pull on this one. Again, this is not a criticism of this gun. This is what you would expect for a more duty-oriented, all-around pistol, right? It should have a little bit more take up. It shouldn't be so feathery that if you brush up against it, it's going to set off like you will on the Apollo, which has, on the Erebus, which has a sub 2-pound trigger pull versus the 2-pound, 2 1/4 trigger pull that's on the Apollo. Again, no sight block, but front sights. And so again, two different pistols. I'm doing this comparison for you guys, because like I said, normally I would pair the Apollo up against other pistols, and we will too, make no mistake about that. Those comparisons are coming. But look, fam, how these guns operate is not decided in a studio like this. It is decided out on the range. So let's get these two bad boys out on the range and see what they can do. Okay, fam, look, we're back. So look, you guys saw it. These two pistols, there's a reason why they both got 91. They make no sense. They make absolutely, positively no sense. Fit and finish, amazing. Accuracy, amazing. Triggers, amazing. Durability, amazing. Price tag, amazing. Price tag is amazing. The Atlas, now keep in mind, at the time I bought my Erebus, I think it was like $6,900. And at the time I bought the Apollo, it was like $64. And since then, Atlas has raised their gun prices. So now the Erebus is at like $7,400 versus $64. So about $1,000 more expensive for the Erebus. But I kind of look at it like, if you're spending over 6 racks for a gun, like between 6 to 8 racks for a gun, that's very low affordability. Most people cannot afford to pay $6,000 for a gun, let alone 2. So that is what it is. But look, fam, I took both of these bad boys out to the range. I shot them side by side. I shot them one after another. I shot them the same day. What I think that did for me is brought some clarity that these two guns are very evenly matched, and that the 91s that both of them received, which were the highest in the history of this channel, make a lot of sense. But you guys wanted me to choose, right? So if you're asking me which gun is the better shooter, it's the Erebus, hands down. Maybe hands down is a little too strong. It's the Erebus. It's the Erebus. It's a better shooter. But again, it's because the trigger is just feathery. It's got that big, huge comp on the front. It's crazy accurate. If you're asking me which is the best all-around pistol, I'm going to say it is the Apollo, because the Apollo can do it all. If you wanted to compete with it, you certainly could. That's just how strong it is. Strong it is. And if you compete with it, it's going to be better than 99.9% of the guns that are on the range. If it's not an Erebus on the range, or maybe like an Infinity or a race gun on the range, then your gun's going to probably be better than everybody else's gun on the range. Now, the thing that it can do that the Erebus cannot do is you can co-witness with it. It's got a super high quality, arguably probably the best duty kind of trigger that you can possibly have on a gun. It's certainly way more concealable, although it's a heavy gun, way more concealable than the Erebus is. So best all around, and it shoots hella soft because of the ports, right? So best shooter, if all you were concerned about is shooting experience and accuracy and shooting, best shooter is the Erebus. Best all around pistol, and I would say that when it comes to best shooter, the Apollo was very close to the Erebus. When it comes to best all around pistol, I don't think the Erebus is nearly as close to the Apollo in that regard. Just because, again, not really concealable, triggers way too light, big comp on the front of the gun, can't co-witness, so if your red dot goes out for any reason, your goose is cooked. So Apollo by a mile. But that is not the question, right? These are both best-in-class guns. If I could only have one, though, that's like the essence of the competition. Fortunately, I have both, but if I could only have one, which one would I choose? Man, this is hard. This is like asking to choose between your two children, which one you love the most. If I could only have one, though, I'm going to say the Atlas Apollo, y'all, because not because it's a better shooting gun, but because it is more well-rounded. And you know what, fam? That's why Atlas built it. When you talk to the folks at Atlas, the Athena had always been kind of their best do-all pistol. Like, the people at Atlas had said, if you're only going to have one Atlas gun, that gun should be the Athena, because of the things that I'm talking about now. Like, you can compete with it. It was that good. You could use it as a duty gun. It was that good. Home defense, whatever the use was, the Athena was it. And the Apollo is the evolution of the Athena, because it is ported, it is soft shooting, it is fast as all get out, it is flat as hell. And so yeah, if I could only have one, I would not choose kind of a strictly competition pistol. I would want a pistol that was more well-rounded, and the Apollo is that. All right, that's it, fam, for this episode. Until next time, as always, I want you to take care of one another, and peace.